Good evening, everyone. I'm Gary Witherspoon, Public Outreach Deputy Director for the Purple Line. On behalf of Governor Wes Moore, Transportation Secretary Paul Wiedefeld, and Maryland Transit Administration Administrator Holly Arnold, welcome to the 11th Community Advisory Team meeting for the Riverdale, Glenridge, and New Carrollton communities. This meeting is being recorded, so you'll be able to find it later on our website, purplelinemd.com. That's purplelinemd.com. You'll also find responses to questions we will answer tonight and those we could either not answer or could not get to. As a courtesy, we are continuing to host these meetings online. We're happy with the response we've received since moving them to virtual. Now, please mute your microphones and keep your telephones muted as well. Also, if you don't mind, turn off your cameras until after the presentation. For those who would like a live translation, these Teams format meetings can translate these evening's comments into a number of languages, including Spanish, Arabic, Chinese, French, and many others. Instructions for seeing live translations are being placed in the chat area of this meeting. Our translator, Prince George's County Liaison Genesis Baez, will now relay that information in Spanish. Genesis.
Para aquellos que desean una traducción en vivo, el formato de Teams puede traducir los comentarios de esta tarde a varios idiomas, incluyendo español, árabe, chino, francés y muchos más. Las introducciones para ver las traducciones en vivo se están colocando en la área del chat de esta reunión.
Gracias. Tonight, we'll update you on the project status, take a look at the project timeline. We'll provide a construction update, during which we'll discuss work completed. We'll show you some progress photos, tell you about upcoming work, and talk about community engagement. And of course, we'll take questions, first from CAT members and then everyone else. Please hold all questions until after the presentation. And we ask that you limit questions or comments to 1 minute. Tonight, we are joined by MTA Project Director Ray Biggs II, Doran Basso, CEO of the concessionaire Purple Line Transit Partners, Hugo Fonterage, Project Executive for Maryland Transit Solutions, the project's builder, Tim Stevens, Construction Manager for MTS, and Carla Julian, the MTS Stakeholder Manager. Tonight, we'll cover the segment of the Purple Line that includes the following stations: Riverdale Park North UMD, Riverdale Park Kenilworth, Beacon Heights East Pines, Glenridge, and New Carrollton. We are excited to share that we've created new renderings, 2 of which we're sharing for the first time during this meeting. Here's the Beacon Heights East Pines station. The station will be on Riverdale Road between 67th Avenue and Veterans Parkway. This part of the alignment has trains running in dedicated space off the shared roadway. The Beacon Heights East Pines station will be a center platform where both westbound and eastbound trains will stop for customers. And here, we show what the Glenridge station will look like. The Glenridge station is located on Veterans Parkway, just east of Annapolis Road. If you've been by this area recently, you will have noticed the platform and canopy for this station have been installed, giving a glimpse into what our center platform station will look like. This part of the alignment has trains running in dedicated space off the shared roadway. The Glenridge station is a center platform where both westbound and eastbound trains will stop for customers. The project, as you will see, will enhance pedestrian safety around each station. We think these renderings will give the public a true depiction of how the station areas will look. And all of the renderings can be found on the project website, purpleLineMD.com. Now, I'm going to turn the meeting over to MTA Project Director Ray Biggs II. And again, please stay muted and hold all questions until after the presentation. Ray?
Thank you, Gary, for kicking off the meeting tonight for us. And continuing with the meeting to give a project status overview, we have a video for you to give you an update. I am sitting here at one of the many businesses that will benefit from the Purple Line, directly across the street from the new Riverdale North UMD station. This will be the first complete station. As we near the end of 2023, the nearly 1,000 workers building the Purple Line is making measurable progress along the alignment. Another significant improvement is the new stormwater management system. This includes miles of new pipes ranging from 12 inches to over 72 inches in diameter. More than 53% of this new pipework is now complete. Along with concrete pipes, our teams have installed over 20,000 square feet of underground sand filters, retention ponds, and planter boxes, all important parts of the new stormwater drainage system. These critical environmental upgrades may not be visible above ground, but must be completed before tracks are added. In Bethesda, work connecting the elevator to Metro's Red Line has reached the bottom of the shaft, and teams have started excavating horizontally to create the cavern.
Burn no!
The Elm Street pedestrian path across the alignment, as well as another half a dozen bridges and underpasses, will serve the new and improved Capitol Crescent Trail. Concrete placement of the historic Talbot Avenue Bridge occurred in early 2023, along with necessary road improvements, making it possible to open the road this year. Concrete for the elevated Silver Spring Station and the elevated Kenilworth Riverdale Station are complete, and crews are hard at work on the utilities and other advanced station elements. And speaking of stations, more than half of Purple Line stations are currently under construction, with structural canopies installed at Riverdale Park North UMD. Canopies provide an exciting glimpse of how Purple Line stations will look. During the summer break at the University of Maryland, crews accomplished a tremendous amount of work, completing drainage, roads, and tracks. Over 1,500 linear feet of track is now in place on campus as part of the 5 future stations servicing the University of Maryland. Along Veterans Parkway, our Glenridge operation and maintenance facility is fully operational, with yard utilities and specialty track installation underway. Purple Line light rail vehicles are scheduled for delivery here in early 2024. Thanks for watching our progress update video for the Purple Line. You can get key information and updates at purplelinemd.com. We have really been hard at work over the last few months. And in fact, as I mentioned in the video, we are more than 58% complete, getting closer and closer to 60%. And we have 60 active construction sites with approximately 1,100 workers across the 16 miles of construction that's going on. And as mentioned, we have over 98% complete of the underground utility relocations. And we've installed more than half of the overhead catenary pole foundations along the alignment. This will provide that power for us to help move the Purple Line along the alignment. And where does that power come from? 3 of the traction power stations have actually been installed along the alignment. And as I mentioned, the first stations were installed at Riverdale Park North UMD Station, and we're excited to see that, and you should be able to see it if you go take a look at it right in your backyard. You'll get to see what the stations will actually look like in reality. And we also mentioned that 26 of the 28 light rail vehicles are complete and ready for delivery. And to mention to you all, we still have that record for the longest light rail vehicles in America at 142 feet. And 11 stations of the 21 stations are under construction. And tonight we'll focus around the Riverdale Park North UMD, Riverdale Park Kenilworth, and Glenridge station of the stations that are under construction. With that, I will turn it over to Doran Basso, the CEO for Purple Line Transit Partners.
Well, thanks, Ray. I'm happy to walk through what's coming next for the project. On the next slide. As you can see here, we are progressing, and as Ray mentioned, our light rail vehicles are ready for delivery, and we're really excited to get them down here to Maryland at our O&M facility in the first half of next year. After that, we will be working to complete the test track where we can test those vehicles, and that's right in this area along Veterans in front of our Glenridge O&M facility, followed by system-wide testing, and we're all working hard towards passenger service in 2027. For a little more detail of what's going on in your neighborhood, I will turn it over to Tim.
Thanks, Doran. So starting from the start there, as we saw, there's the Riverdale Park station. As you can see there, the canopies are in, the platform's on, the ramps are recently completed as well. So you'll be able to see how we sort of come down to the grade in this elevation. Completed a lot of the underground utilities. Upcoming works is essentially tying in these utilities from underneath the platform into the network essentially, and then progressing through there onto the Hague Drive crossing, which is immediately next to the UMD station. Go to the next slide there, please. The Hague Drive. So we're currently working with our community partners to get this access closed essentially through the winter, so we can complete the track through here in one swoop basically. That'll connect us up from here through to the Anacostia Bridge. So working with the local community here to get that closed. We'll have pedestrian detours in place and get that notice out plenty in advance of when that'll happen this coming winter. Rounding onto Kenilworth Avenue, you can see there we've installed a lot of the new curb and gutter and sidewalk. We implemented the traffic zone switch, which you can see there. So the southbound Kenilworth has been pushed across, so we can start building out the bridge through here. So you can see in the photo on the right there, sort of behind the crane is where the pier will be, and then that structure in front of the crane is the abutment. At that point, the rail will finish being elevated and will come back down to an at-grade service, running northbound. Upcoming for this area, obviously, we just have to complete our substructure work, and then towards the end of the year and through early next year, if you jump on the next slide, you'll see we'll have some detour work going on, essentially, so we can set these girders as we take the turn. So the girders will obviously span across the Riverdale Kenilworth intersection. So to enable this placement, we'll have some detours in place. Looking at doing it nights and weekends, though, to minimize the impact as much as we can on the traffic through there. So that's slated to start end of this year and progress through for a few weeks into next year. Next area up is where that obviously connects into, which is the Riverdale Park Kenilworth Station. So as you can see there, we've completed the deck essentially. So next up, we'll be placing the platform, which you can see on the wider section of that. The crews are hard in there at work at the moment, placing the forms to form up that platform itself. And then we'll be tying that all in, as we said, early into next year and continuing the way out. We'll also start work on the 2 elevator shafts and the stairs that lead up to that, which all kind of nestles in there next to where you can see the crane on that photo. There'll be access either end along that that side of the bridge. And the next one, so Riverdale Road, completed all of the water and sewer relocations. We're continuing along storm drain. We've made a good progress on storm drain between essentially the BW Parkway and the Kenilworth. A good chunk of that is complete. We've completed the overhead catenary systems through this area, so that is 100% done. And then installing the ballast curb and track preparation to start that early next year for track as well. Some upcoming work in this area, which you'll notice, it'll be nighttime, will be the southbound on-ramp. We'll be looking to do some nighttime closures on that with detours in place so that we can get our communication duct banks and drainage through this crossing, just 'cause it's a small, narrow little road there. So again, that'll be on nights to minimize impacts. The next bit of work which we have there is a Riverdale Road and Mustang. So interesting little bit of area where we'll be closing some roads, building new roads in the near future. So the first thing coming up is, if you have been along there, you'll see we're building the new 64th Avenue. So we're looking to open that up in the December timeframe, open up that 64th, which will be a signalized intersection. Once we open that, we'll be looking to close Mustang Drive down so we can complete the track installation through this area. Once we have once you have Mustang open, we'll then be closing the 63rd and the East Pine locations as well. So that work's all coming up in the next 6 months. And then if you just grab the next slide there, you'll see essentially where we have the new 64th to be opened, which will again be a signalized intersection. So we can enable the closure of Mustang to realign that to the new area and get the track built in this area before reopening. Next is the Beacon Heights. Again, we've implemented a traffic switch here. So you can see how that is on the photo down there. We've begun work on the Beacon Heights East Pine station. So I've completed that excavation. The crews are in there at the moment, starting to build out the foundations of this. So to go foundations, walls will be built next, and then we'll do a lot of the utility work inside of the station, and then similar to the other ones, put the platform on and set canopies, which hoping to push this one out reasonably quickly as well, so we can keep moving through the area. Traction power substations. So as Ray mentioned, we've got 3 of these set on the project. So this being the Q7, there's QG, and there's Q8. So the 3 in a row along this section of work. So they're tied in. Pepco will be activating them very shortly, and we'll be tying them into the network to power the trains when they arrive. Veterans Parkway, continuing storm drain installation. Previously mentioned there are the swim structures like the ones shown here, the planter boxes these are. We've completed the installation of these. Very close to completing storm drain installation along Veterans Parkway as well. Just a couple of little crossings we need to complete with Veterans Parkway itself, but otherwise making very good progress along this stretch of the project down here, and getting it very close for track placement. So next sort of 6 months along here, we'll definitely be seeing a lot of track get placed for the full stretch of Veterans. Basically, it'll be looking very close to completion. With the maintenance facility, a little bit further up the road there, continuing operations inside the building, getting it ready to receive the trains, continuing installation of the tracks. So this photo is a little outdated, so it does look a little bit more advanced since then, but to the left of that photo, a lot of the track is already in through here, building out along what we call the main line, which is the 2 tracks along Veterans there, and then building out the rest of the yard. Got a lot of the a lot of the stormwater is built in there and finishing up the ponds. There's a couple of sand filter ponds that will be finished very shortly in this area, ready to take delivery of the 142-foot long light rail vehicles. Next up there is the Glenridge access bridge. One thing I cannot emphasize enough about this is this bridge is open for construction access only. It is not open for access to the mall. So please do not make the mistake of turning into here. This is heavily accessed for construction, vehicles in and out all day, trucks, if you're in the area. But as far as the bridge is completed, though, wing walls are in. Please respect this construction access only. Moving forward to the Glenridge station, so up across Annapolis Road. Shown there that the canopies were recently set in this area. So again, center platform, this will how those ones will look. The upcoming work here will be completing the utility tie-in and very soon getting tracks built either side of this and running continually down Veterans, down into the corner there of Veterans and Allen, which is the next slide. So you can see here, we've got the northbound side completed, working our way now on the southbound side. So all traffic's on the north. We completed our first pour on the southbound section today, pouring it in a little bit shorter than regular. Normally we try for around 160 foot at a time, but just because of the complexity of this corner, pouring 80-foot sections. So again, complete the first pour there today. Continue work on here. Also working there again is a large underground detention facility for storm management. Working on building that out still. So that'll all be, the storm facility be completed around Thanksgiving, and looking to get that roadway hopefully opened up towards the end of the year, very early next year. Which on next one with Allen Road there, continuing storm drain down through the whole Allen Road stretch. We've reconstructed the intersection there at the Hanson Oaks and Allen Road, and we've got the track 1 through there to allow for that continued work. Continuing on with the overhead catenary, and then with the upcoming work, we've continued track, call it towards the new Carrollton station. So set our rail out there. We'll start completing those concrete pours in the coming weeks as we progress further along with much of that work as we can. And then also looking to obviously open up this section of road from Hanson Oaks up to Veterans early next year. Further along Allen Road, we've completed the substation in this area, so you can see it there as it's being placed by the crane. It gets set in 4 different sections essentially, so you can get a good view of the inside of the substation there as the 4 of them get pieced together. Upcoming works is the tying in the utilities in this location as well, and getting the track all installed, embedded track through here. And then onto the new Carrollton station. So you can see here we've done a lot of work on retaining walls. We've built a wall in the bottom right of the corner you can see there, and then where the machines are on the top left, we've got another wall there. We'll mark the end of the line through here. We did a partial closure of the parking lot and continued work out the back portion. And then in the coming weeks and months, we'll be looking to essentially do a bit of a flip there, where the current parking will be transitioned from where it is to the back of the photo there, the far end, keeping continued access as shown in the graphic there, where we'll be able to walk along what we're building to the station. So there'll be no walking out onto the road to sort of get down. It'll be all along the actual, within the footprint of the parking lot still, while we jump in and continue our next portion, which will be the existing parking lot. Yeah, I believe that's it for the construction. Can hand over to Carla.
Thanks, Tim. Good evening, everybody. Next slide, please. So as you can see, we're very active in construction and in the community. Recently, some of our team members supported the Riverdale community in collaboration with Central Kenworth Avenue Revitalization for the Placemaking Festival in July. And this was presented to the Riverdale Park Business Association presentation. Next slide. As always, a friendly reminder as you're traversing in your car, as a pedestrian, on your bicycle, please pay attention to cones, barrels, plates in the roads, and flaggers. We have so much going on out there. We want everybody to get home safely. Next slide. And just a reminder, as everyone has noted, you can get your best up-to-date information on Purple Line MD. If you need to reach us for construction inquiries, anything that you might need to know, outreach at Purple Line MD. And if you are a member of the media, we now have media at Purple Line MD. If you have questions or looking for an interview, please reach us there. And as always, we have hotline numbers in English and Spanish. And please follow us on social media for updates and project progress. And now I will turn it back over to Doran.
Great. Thank you, Carla. Well, we will end our presentation tonight with something we're very excited to have launched this fall, and that's the Beyond the Rails Community Grant Program. The purpose of this grant program is to support the neighboring community groups along the Purple Line alignment. We've been inspired by the numerous community groups that do so much good work here for local residents, and as long-term members of the community ourselves, the goal of our grant program is to help provide even more funding for those existing community groups and nonprofits to do their work. So as you see here, we are going to give out 12 grants per year with 6 every 6 months. And the initial deadline is November 30th for this first round of grants. All the info you can find right at the website, purplelinemd.com, as well as a short web form to fill out for a grant application. We're very proud to take this step in giving back to the community, helping the Purple Line corridor thrive. And so we ask all that are here tonight, if you're part of a group or know of a good community group who could benefit, please spread the word and help us get those grants out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Doran. This concludes our CAT presentation. Before we continue, I'd like to acknowledge any elected officials or their representatives. Please raise your hand using the icon atop your screen, and we will acknowledge you. In the meantime, we now invite CAT members to ask questions. Please raise your hand using the icon so you can be called upon. You also can type questions in the chat section. Again, we ask that you limit your questions or comments to 1 minute. If your question is not addressed tonight, don't worry. All questions will be addressed later in a question and response posting on the website. Similar questions will be combined, so you may not see your question posted verbatim. Additionally, we'll accept questions for a week until November 9th at outreach@purplelinemd.com. That's outreach@purplelinemd.com. Let's see, a hand raised. All right, Tina, fire away.
Hi there. Thank you for this great presentation and really interested in your grants program. So I appreciate you guys starting that. Couple of quick questions. I kind of sensed a question mark about the opening in spring. So one is, how likely is it that we are aiming it will happen in spring after multiple delays, after the new contractor being on and a fall date being presented previously? Second was specifically about Glenridge, but any station that doesn't have a parking area. I was just wondering how you guys are going to configure, if there's going to be like some sort of kiss and ride or very obvious like drop off point. I'm thinking right now with Glenridge, kind of where that Bank of America is, I don't know if that building will be there. but I could see people wanting to slow down, drop people off, just kind of natural behavior. So I'm just wondering if that's something being planned for all of the stations without parking, and specifically Glenridge station. Thank you.
Ray, do you want to tackle that one?
Yeah, I'll take the, I'll start with the schedule and then probably I'll talk a little bit on the stations part. But the schedule, we are still targeting spring of 2027. As you know, back in July, we got the BPW approval to push out the RSA date from that fall 2026 date that you mentioned. But we are targeting 2027 and doing all that we can to stay on target. Now, in regards to the stations, parking is not included as part of the project at any of the stations because this is a transit project, and we have purposely designed it in a way that goes through neighborhoods and make those connections as we are trying to get cars off of the road and get people more in the transit system and on the public systems to do bike rides and all of that. Hopefully that answers your questions.
Not the second one, but I'll follow up on by email because I don't want to take too much time. Because I guess I know that people will naturally want to drop off their loved ones or other people or pick up, and it just happens regardless of how many people are taking a train anywhere. I've seen it in other places, so I just want to make sure that that is being thought of and having signage so it isn't causing more of a backup on existing cars. Thank you.
For like the kids and ride, understand.
Yeah,
We can
kids and ride,
follow
that's
up with
fine.
that. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Okay, other questions, please? Please raise your hand using the icon on top of your screen. Steve Hardick.
Hey there, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So I wanted to know what connections, if any, are planned for the new Carrollton station as far as any bike and pedestrian infrastructure might be concerned. New Carrollton's kind of like an island as far as it's difficult to get to on foot or by a bicycle. And I'm wondering if there are any projects, you know, perhaps in partnership with DPW&T or any other county or state organization for any bike and pedestrian connections.
I'll address that one. As a matter of fact, we have bike and pedestrian connections throughout the corridor, including some in this area, and we will provide for you some plans for the bike and pedestrian sections that we are providing in this area. I don't have them in front of me, but we will get them to you.
Okay, yeah, I'd be interested to see them along the whole this whole section of the route that's covered by this CAT meeting. So if those are available, I'd certainly be interested in seeing those.
Absolutely. Other questions?
Just to follow up on that, where would I go to find those plans in the future?
I believe what we have some of them posted on the website, but we'll get that to you directly to let you know exactly where.
I'll drop my email address in the chat.
Okay, we'll send them to you via email. Other questions? That's D. Ekanique.
Yeah, hi. I was wondering, I know a lot of places do like meet and greets with vehicles, like, you know, fire trucks and such. Will we have an opportunity to come see the rail cars prior to them being installed or moving around the track, will we potentially have CAT members or the community come and see them?
Ray, you want to answer that one?
All right, I was trying to get to my video to undo it, but let us take that back to, because one thing we have to make sure is that once we get them down here, that everything is working correctly and all of that. But we'll look into that and get back to you on that before the next CAT meeting.
Okay.
Okay, other questions? Other questions? Please raise your hands. Steve, do you have another question?
Yes, I do. Is there a tentative timing for when the flyover at the Riverdale Park Kenilworth Station is expected to be installed?
MTS?
Sure, yeah, I'll grab that one. Yeah, so we're looking to start setting those girders end of this year, early next year. So we'll start from essentially the Kenilworth side, set that first span from the abutment to the pier, and then following that, we'll start building out across the actual intersection itself. So hopefully see some cranes before Christmas, if not in January for sure.
All right, great. That'll be a fantastic accomplishment to see that completed. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, hopefully. If you come out on nights and weekends to watch, basically.
Thank you, Tim and Steve. Other questions? Please raise your hands if you have questions. Tina?
Another quick one, sorry. I couldn't really tell from the picture, but along Veterans Way after Glenridge Station, is the train elevated over Veterans Way, or is there going to be a way that like stops is it in line and it like stops traffic when it goes over to New Carrollton? Sorry, I couldn't tell by the picture. Did my question make sense? I was just wondering if it's an elevated thing over the Veterans Parkway after Glenridge going to New Carrollton.
I can take that one again. So it essentially, it's a level crossing down from Veterans into Allen, if that's the area you were thinking.
So yes, that is the area. What did you say? Level?
It's at grade. So there'll be,
is that grade at the surface level? Okay.
Yeah, so there'll be a signalized intersection there. Yeah, if you flick back through, you'll see where we've built. Yep, that one's there. So you can see where we've built the first half of it, and the second half's ongoing now. So it'll